Today, Chef Massimo is adding his flavor to the theme. He's making us a weeknight chicken dish. You're gonna love it. Here's what you need. Boneless chicken thighs, capers, Dijon mustard, 35% cream, white wine, lemon, sage, butter, some olive oil, flour, and fregola. And I don't know if I said that right.
You know what? It's called fregola, but you said a fregola is just about the same. It's just the accent is moved. That's all.
Okay,
so you did a good job.
Not bad. I didn't know if it was hard G or soft G, so at least I got that right. How do we start the recipe, Mass?
So this is very, very simple. I mean, this is a recipe that will take about 15 minutes, even though I'm using chicken thighs. Now, I bought chicken thighs, skin on, bone in, but what I did is I took the chicken, and if you can come closer over here, you can see that I opened it up along the bone. I just slit it open. So it's a little bit more flat. You know what I mean? It's about a 3/4 of an inch thick. And that way we'll cook a lot faster. Now, let me start my fire over here because I need it warm.
Yeah.
A little bit of butter and a little bit of oil. Now, I'm taking my chicken thighs, skin on, bone in. I left it open. If you want to use boneless, it's perfectly fine. You just give it a little bit of a beating to beat them down a little bit. And then all we have to do is season with a little bit of salt, not too much, just like that, because we're putting a lot of savory things in it, right? So I have red pepper, and this is not a red pepper mill, it's red pepper inside the red pepper mill so that I know which pepper I'm using, because I tend to use black, white, and red. So a nice amount. We can turn it around, and then we're gonna season the bottom. Now, when I say flour, dredging it in flour, it's just a little bit like this, and then you just shake it so that there is very, very little flour on it. This will protect the meat and not dehydrate it. Okay? And that's about as much. So you don't have to do like a fried chicken, okay? That's perfectly fine. And then we have a hot pan. And this is very simple. It's gonna come together in 3 minutes. Look, put the chicken down, skin side down first, let it roast very, very well. And I call that roasted because this action really is just searing it, is roasting it, is just bringing out the fat from the skin so that then you can remove the fat and get rid of it. And you're imparting a little bit of flavor, you know what I mean? You're bringing out the umami. You're bringing out the flavor of the chicken, which is really fantastic. Skin on is my favorite way. Now, this is a recipe that has cream, capers, mustard, and a little bit of sage. So I'm gonna start putting the sage in, and this is sage from my garden, which, you know, the cold in the last couple of days kind of wilted it up a little bit, but that's okay. I'm gonna throw it in because we want a little bit of that flavor of the sage. Let it fry up. Then you can add the capers.
Massimo, what does roasting it slow and low do?
You can avoid putting it in the oven by roasting it slow on the stove, because once that you flip the chicken over, the skin is going to be nice and crisp, and you don't need to cover it up. I mean, once that you turn it over, then you can just cook it slowly, because I opened the bone up, so the heat is going to go right through and it's going to cook perfectly. Now, if you want your chicken completely dried out and cooked all the way like crazy, then you got to put it in the oven a little bit more. But if you like your chicken nice and moist, this is the way to do it. It's perfectly fine. Anyway, listen, the capers are cooking, and yes, the vinegar, the brine is kind of dissipating a little bit, so you're going to get the full flavor of capers. Now, next step is we're going to put in a little bit of lemon juice. So I have a half a lemon. We're just going to squeeze it in because I want to raise a little bit the acidity, and a more pleasant acidity than vinegar. Lemon juice. So that's done. Then we're going to add a little bit of mustard. I'll scoop here and there. And this is just, you know, your favorite mustard. You can use coarse mustard. You can use very fine mustard. The chicken is colored. There you go. And then what we do is we turn it around like this. We add our wine. All of it. Don't be cheap. And if you are going to put the chicken in the oven and you're going to, let's say you're going to cook it for like 15, 20 minutes, then you might want to add a little bit of chicken stock. Now, it's not on the recipe, but, you know, keep it in mind. that if you want a little bit more moisture, by all means, add a little chicken stock. Otherwise, once that the wine is evaporated, you put your cream in, just like so, and then you let it simmer. You let it simmer for about 10 minutes, and then you will get this result. This is all done. The sauce has been reduced. The chicken is beautifully roasted, and that's all there is to it, really. There's no need for extra seasoning because everything in here is very well seasoned, including the chicken stock is full seasoning. Now you need fregola. Fregola is almost like a couscous, like a pearl couscous. It's made in the exact same way, but it's a specialty of Sardinia. Sardinia is that island that is between Corsica and Sicily, and is very popular dish in that place. It's a beautiful thing because you put it on the stove and you make it like a risotto. You add your ingredients first, you toast it, you put a little bit of stock in it, and then you let it cook. And that's all you have to do. After that, you just take your chicken, place it right beside it, and then you know the famous French recipe, the chicken breast with cream? Well, I think this is a derivative of that. And you can just put your cream sauce, your capers, your sage, all around it, as much as you like. And when we make it at home, we actually make it with pork chops as well, or veal, and it's absolutely delicious. This is the tastiest dish that you've ever had, and cream and chicken, they go so well together. I mean, come on, I'm giving out my passion over here. Cream, butter, love it.
Take some time and make a meal not on the go, and this is a perfect one to try. Thank you, Massimo.